What's the only thing better than being outside sweating like a hog growing some corn? Being inside playing a game where it simulates being outside sweating like a hog growing some corn. Yes, it's true I'm making a video about Farming Simulator, but don't click off yet. This video will have a good message. I know it's hard to believe from a portal shooting Minecrafting guy like myself actually likes Farming Simulator, or FS as the boys call it, but I really enjoy the game. It's not for the enjoyment of farming necessarily, but it's the camaraderie. I would never, ever play Farming Simulator by myself because I find the game really boring, but it doesn't stop me from playing with my best friends. The first Farming Simulator game came out in 2008 with the only crop being wheat and the only manufacturer being Fent. Ew! Yucky! Get it out of here! The games have clearly evolved over the last 12 years to where it is today. At the time of recording this, I have 132 hours in the game, being my most played game on Steam. But to properly explain why I enjoy Farming Simulator so much, I need to tell you my experience with the game. So to start with why I started playing in the first place, it's because in October of last year, my friend Jacob got the game, and a friend of his had a server, and those two and my other friend Bobby played on that server, and later on I ended up getting the game. Before this, I wasn't interested in the game whatsoever, before those guys said I should get it, but we ended up getting in a Discord call, and they played while I watched them screen share their games, and I was bored out of my mind for 3 hours, and I didn't have enough money to get the game. But I ended up looking, and the game was on sale that night, and I was like, oh, okay, and then I bought it. We ended up playing for another few hours. I joined the server and joined Bobby's farm because we each had our own individual farms, and he said I should join his, which was smart because I wouldn't ever farm, actually. On Bobby's farm, he had a 78 pink lizard, and he said that I could drive it, and I ended up doing this for 95% of the time I played. And playing this game would end up being an almost daily thing for us. As the days and weeks went by, I still didn't do any farming. I'd just drive around in the Pink Beauty, as I like to call it, and we just chat and farm and have a grand old time. Then eventually I ended up doing grunt work for Bobby. I misused that phrase at the time because all I did was move stuff and I cleaned his vehicles, and the boys gave me some shit on that one. This then led me to create my own farm and start YouBring Enterprises. I still didn't have any farm equipment or land aside from a little sliver to put a couple sheds and too many pressure washers on. What YouBring Enterprises was the parent company to my two businesses. Not to brag, but I was a little bit of an entrepreneur. I had one that was a car wash business called YouBring iClean, and then a couple months later I started a storage company called YouBring iStore. We initially didn't know how to transfer money between farms, so the way the other two would pay for car washes would be through favors. Blowjobs, it was blowjobs. Later on they told me they figured out how to transfer money, and this ended what would be in real life probably prostitution. But to be fair, it was Bobby's idea. These were probably some of the most fun times I've had with those guys gaming wise. Though I've never truly played the game, I still had a fun time and it was amazing. When I think of Farming Simulator, I think of a few friends getting together in a Discord call, talking about random BS, and we just so happen to be playing Farming Simulator. With that said, games like this where you can play with friends and you can play the game and just don't have to pay attention at all and you can easily just shoot the shit or mess around and be idiots are some of my favorite games to play with friends. Games like these include Minecraft, Uno, Poolians, all these being games I've played with the boys in the past. Well, you may be asking yourself, why do you play Farming Simulator if you don't do what the game is designed to do? Well, I answered that earlier in this video. The reason I enjoy playing Farming Simulator so much is because of the camaraderie that goes along with it. I very much enjoy going off the beaten path in games and finding my own fun, like being a car washer, being the law enforcement, and wanting to do a demolition derby that still hasn't happened, and just other dumb stuff my brain comes up with out of boredom. Another reason I enjoy this game is because it's very much tied to the time when we started playing. This was a time I decided to slow down with everything content-wise for a bit, and I was able to actually spend multiple hours every day to play a game with the boys. Because I didn't have to worry about a video for the next day being done, because I would only upload once a week and still didn't necessarily care if I missed a week and streamed very little in the first place. The experiences I have with Farming Simulator is something I very much cherish and always will. I've noticed the older I get, the clingier I get to my friends. I don't know if this is because I realize that in a year we're all going to go our separate ways because we're about to be seniors in high school, but I do know when that time comes we can fall back on Farming Simulator and catch up and tell each other about all the goofy things that happened at college and work. So it's not the farming or the simulating that makes Farming Simulator great. It's the fact that I can get in a Discord call with my best friends in the world, shoot the shit for a few hours, and drive around in the Pink Beauty, and sometimes do some goofy shit in game. And that is why I love Farming Simulator.